Yeah, I appreciate it.
Open Public Meeting Act. According to the Open Public Meetings Act, this meeting of December 13th, 2023 was sent to the Our Town and the Record and published on January 9th, 2023, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on Rochelle Park's website and Facebook page, and has been remained continuously posted, has the required notice under the statute, and is being recorded and videotaped. In addition, a copy of this notice has and been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Committeewoman Artola?
Here.
Committeewoman Boniface?
Here.
Committeeman Moskowitz?
Here.
Committeeman Miller?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bassetti? You have a quorum, Committeewoman.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. I'd like to have the moment of silence for good health and happiness in the new coming year to all residents of Rochelle Park. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No presentations today, no correspondence. Approval of the agenda. Can I have a
motion?
motion, please?
1 minute, Committeewoman, I just have one suggestion. I'd like the Township Committee to kindly pull Resolution 23-227, resolution authorizing a shared service agreement with Bergen County. I've exchanged some emails with the county as well as our borough engineers. I have 2 items regarding that resolution that I need to discuss with the county before we move forward, and I'll elaborate on those 2 items further on in the meeting.
And then the closed session.
And in closed session because it involves negotiations of the potential shared services agreement.
Okay.
So in addition, yes, thank you, Committee. I'd like to add to closed session negotiations for both the T-Mobile lease agreement as well as the potential shared service agreement with the Bergen County.
So you want to pull
Poll
230?
20, yes.
Yeah, we want to pull,
23,
yeah,
230
we want to pull both.
as well.
Yeah, well, let's pull 23-227 and 23-230. And then I can address both of those items in the closed session, in negotiations. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Is there a motion to
Yeah.
the agenda with,
With the changes, I
Yes.
make the motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Artola?
Yes.
Committeewoman Boniface?
yes,
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
Committeeman Moskowitz?
Yes, just to clarify, that was a motion to pull those 2 items off from the agenda, okay? So everyone's clear? Yep.
And accept the agenda with those
Accept the
changes.
agenda as amended.
Yeah.
okay. Discussion, Boswell Engineering. Mr. Rockwell.
Good evening, Bruce Rockwell from Boswell Engineering, here to give the engineer's update report. Rochelle Avenue and Railroad. On November 8th, we submitted temporary construction easement to Township Attorney. On 11/14, the railroad accepted the sidewalk utility easements. The county has issued an updated shared services agreement that the attorney just spoke about. It's on a resolution for tonight, but that's been tabled or is going to be dealt with in discussion. There's some ongoing discussion on that agreement. Once a DOT approval is received by the county, we will execute utility agreements and we'll schedule a joint utility project coordination meeting. And the railroad has affirmed that they will have the funding in place for the project as of January 2024. The sanitary sewer pump station, NJSP FEMA issued an RFI to Boswell Engineering on November 8th. The Boswell responses were submitted back on December 5th. This is in furtherance of the BRIC grant application. On December 8th, NJSP FEMA submitted a second RFI to Boswell, which we are working on. They responded to that request. Our responses are due back on January 8th, 2024. we intend on meeting that deadline on the responses. MS4 stormwater mapping, digitization and mapping of stormwater sewer system. The maps are estimated at 70% completion. The system alignment has been mapped. The attribute information on the stormwater infrastructure system data is being entered, and we are on track for completing the maps by the end of the year. Howard Avenue, drainage and resurfacing. On November 8th, the contract was executed with the contractor La Forza. On November 21st, town confirmed receipt of the initial payments for the 2 smaller NJDOT grants. On November 30th, the larger grant was confirmed as having been processed, an initial payment by NJDOT. Contractor has conducted test pits to establish location of existing gas and water services, and shop drawing reviews are currently being processed by Boswell Engineering, and the contractors confirmed the drainage structures have been ordered. El Dorado and Crescent. So this came up at the last meeting. The a resident at 14 El Dorado is concerned with regard to the contractor's work. This will be maybe the 3rd time that we've heard his concerns. We've responded twice before. I took the liberty to go out and inspect the property myself the day after the last meeting. We are intending to take the contractor and our inspector back out and meet with the homeowner and discuss that further. I can tell you that the road is very flat there, you know, I know we've said that we probably can't improve the situation, but we're going to try to discuss that and see if we can find some resolution with that resident.
Bruce, if I may. Bruce, it's my understanding there might even be some historical data that shows there were some modifications made to the property itself.
That's correct. Sometime during this work or right before the work, the driveway was widened. The other thing that we noticed is that in the before pictures before the work, we can see staining from water on the driveway. So there's evidence that water has always been collecting, you know, on the driveway. But, you know, regardless, you know, we want to try to do the best we can to resolve the issue there.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks. Digital tax maps, we require a final meeting with Jim Teague. Jim is, I guess, on a part-time schedule, and he's got a pretty substantial task to redo all the lot and block numbers so we can submit that to approval for division of taxation. So we're presently on hold waiting for Jim to complete that task. Once Jim completes that task, we'll have a final meeting with him, and then we'll complete that project. This is the Dorothy and Gertrude and Pleasant Avenue road improvements. Low bidder was DLS Contracting. Total bid amount of $139,642.50. The recommendation of award and bid summary was sent to the town on November 27th. The town awarded the project at the November 29th meeting. Boswell provided bid summary and recommendations of award letter to CDBG on December 5th, and a resolution of award to CDBG on December 6th. Next steps are contract execution and scheduling of the pre-construction meeting. Harvey Avenue, this is from West Passaic to Hahn Avenue. We submitted a proposal for bid document preparation to the town on November 8th. That proposal included surveying work and engineering design work. Survey being $13,350. Engineering proposal was $39,950. Preliminary construction cost estimate for that work is $473,200. On November 14th, the town accepted the proposal. The survey field work is underway, and it's anticipated to be completed by the end of this week. And once the survey is completed, the design work will commence. Stormwater control ordinance, the town introduced the NJDEP mandated private salt shed ordinance at the November 20th, 2023 for the first reading. November 20th, that was 29th, wasn't it? I think it's a typo. And the schedule for adoption, the ordinance is on for tonight, I believe. Okay. And adoption is a state mandated deadline of January 1st, so we will meet that deadline. Lincoln Drive and Chestnut Avenue, the grant application submission has a deadline of December 15th, and Boswell intends to submit the resolution tomorrow once it is approved tonight and forward it to us tomorrow. And that's the end of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Hold on 1 minute. We have a question is to the engineer, I would estimate, right, Bob?
You want to just pass the motion to open up?
Yes.
Ask for a motion to
Can
open.
Can somebody make a motion to open?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to open to the public for engineering only.
Only.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I've been reading in the various papers and so forth, in reference to across the street, that by April, they're looking to start to occupy the building. I was just wondering, because I really didn't hear much of a report pertaining to this pump station, what was happening. Are you finished with the design work?
We are not 100% complete with the design work. We are going through submission and comments back from FEMA, NJSP FEMA.
Okay, I understand that part of it, because I know that you have requirements for FEMA. I'm just trying to get some kind of an idea. Because the town's really going to be kind of like in a predicament here very soon. They're going to start occupying the building. We're not going to be ready. We're not even starting construction yet. Matter of fact, we don't really know exactly what's happening with the plans. And I think that's a major issue. It's a big problem. Is the pump station, the current pump station, going to be able to handle the additional 160 units that are going to be opened up? So I just wondering where all that is, and.
So Bruce, if you look on the long form of the report on page 4, it talks about the plans were nearing completion. The next internal status meeting was scheduled for October 31st, so I'm thinking from our discussions, they were like 95% done, 90% done.
Yeah, the design, as far as I understand, the design is complete.
Right. I mean, and,
Met with the town twice.
and in your experience, if we were even to go out to bid tomorrow and award that, how long is it going to take for that type of project to be built?
I would say that.
Estimation.
Yeah, that's probably a 12-month project.
So does that help you, Mr. Davis?
Yeah, no, again, I'm just trying to get an idea, because I'm reading where they're looking to occupy, they're actually doing hard hat.
Yeah, they were scheduled for an October 24, but I think they're way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, that's fine, but it's just that we're kind of like in a situation where it's going to be occupied very soon, and we're quite a bit out as far as that's concerned. I also understand that we have the whole issue with the FEMA trying to get the monies for that, but, I just wanted to know what was happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the money issue. I think the grant is pretty solidified at this point. FEMA, whenever the federal government gets money out, they're pretty particular. And some of the questions that just recently came back, which were not anticipated, they are looking for commitments and certifications to secure that the portions of infrastructure that we move out of the floodplain, that nothing will be moved back into the floodplain. So these weren't really necessarily design questions.
Okay.
They're questions they're asking relative to compliance and looking for, documentation and certifications that we're not going to move anything back there once.
And they're not
it
going
gets
to be,
moved out.
they're not going to be submitting a check to us for the 1.9 or whatever it was, right off the bat anyway, so.
Right.
But so where are we with the financing?
Before we move on, do we know if the pump station can handle the units? I was never told it couldn't handle the units, the new units.
I mean, that's the first I'm hearing of this specific
Okay.
concern. I could certainly go back and talk to our
I was just
engineer
asking a
relative
question.
to.
No, I've never heard that they couldn't handle the units, so I don't, you're bringing this up that it can't. I don't know, I don't know if anyone up here knows if it can handle it
And
or
I
it can't
think
handle
part
it.
of the Bergamot Street sewer
There's a lot of
improvement.
problems, like the valve, there's a valve that won't open if it starts to flood. It's frozen shut.
Well,
So-
flooding is a different thing, but I'm just saying,
But
in
I'm
general,
saying,
is it able to
if
handle the
starts to
units?
back up or anything, there's no, that's why we had to pump out, when we had the failure before, they had to pump it into tanks and then drop it up in Maywood.
Mhm.
So
So,
you have an asset, if you will, that's fully depreciated. It's over 60 years old.
I would venture to say, and this is only my opinion, that the land use board that allowed it after sitting with our engineers, who happened to be Boswell, I believe at the time, wouldn't have allowed it, right, if they would have thought. I mean, I would assume that during those testimonies, the engineers would have said, you're gonna have a problem here. I know they improved Berdan Street, we did a relining, and I know Dave's around here somewhere, he usually hides behind a pole, but,
He's back there.
Yeah.
that's my understanding, but.
Again, I'm not saying that it can't handle, I asked the question.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it can't handle it, I'm asking.
Yeah, what I do know about this pump station and recent work is that there's been improvements made with the piping and the lining
Yes.
to inhibit infiltration,
Correct.
which becomes a capacity issue. So that's
Right.
been an improvement.
I'm well aware of that,
So,
yes.
if you wanted specific numbers, I'd have to go back and
Again,
to
no.
the engineers in
I'm not
hand.
looking for you to do
Yeah.
that. I'm just posing these questions because it's gonna be occupied, and we're not gonna be ready with a new pump station. That's really what I'm trying to just see where we are with this. Thank you. Thank you for the time, appreciate it.
any questions, any more questions?
I'll make a
Make a
motion.
motion, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I make a motion to close.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, we're gonna go to reports, administrators report.
I just want to wish everybody happy Hanukkah, happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year, because we will not reconvene until after the New Year. If there's anything else I need to interject on, I will, as the committee gives their report.
Okay, let's go. Perrin, committee report.
Okay, building report for November 2023, permits issued were 24, UCC inspections were 101, total value of construction was 1.856 million, permit fees collected was $31,076, permit fees waived were none, zoning permits $910, zoning inspections 8, zoning applications 12, zoning violations 0, continuing certificate of occupancies, $3,050. Standalone inspections were 3. Property maintenance violations issued was 1. Complaints, 0. CCO inspections were 8. Total fees collected were $35,036. For year-to-date so far is $529,481 for the building.
If I may, Committee, on that report? Because I just met with the code enforcement officer, just to give everybody an update. We've been having an issue with medical waste being dumped on Parkway and Rochelle Avenue in the area of Parkway, Grove Avenue, and Becker Avenue. We've reached out to the ownership of 96 Parkway, the management, the staff, and code enforcement and the police officers have been instructed to look for such a waste. We've been unsuccessful in tracking down who exactly is leaving it there. We think it might be a temporary employee on weekends, but, so if anybody sees it, please call the police desk, and or the building department, and we'll forward it, over to code enforcement. Code enforcement is very aware of 2 businesses with temporary vertical signs. He's dealing with it. One is the market on Rochelle Avenue, so if anybody wants to come up to the microphone and tell me about it, we're aware of it. Please call. If you see these things, again, during the day, call the building department. If you don't want to use the app, we'll put it in the app, and our code enforcement officer, Warnett, will go right out and cite it. But again, he's dealing with those 2 business owners Another complaint that you may get is there's construction vehicles parked at 365 West Passaic Street. That's LaForza Construction, who's doing all the work for us on Howard Avenue. He made his own arrangement with the ownership, and they are parked closer to Powell Avenue, so we have gotten some complaints, but again, it's private property and it's our vendor, so rather than leaving on the street, we think it's more secure and safe to have construction equipment off the roadways, our side streets, and in that parking lot, and we're happy that the owners, Bergman Realty of 365, was kind enough to make that arrangement. That's all I have on it.
And I'm done with my report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So the Police Department monthly report for November, a total of 1,077 calls for service were answered for the month of November. 168 motor vehicle stops were conducted, and a total of 331 summonses, warnings issued. 42 suspicious persons, vehicles, and occurrences were investigated. A total of 25 adult arrests were made, encompassing 48 different criminal charges. These criminal arrests were highlighted by a prostitution sting at a local massage parlor, which was arranged, planned, and executed by our Police Department Detective Bureau. Great work, guys. Officers are continuing to meet and greet the youth of our community while engaging in the 2023 Police Trading Card Program. Please encourage your child to collect all 28 cards. We are currently in the planning stage for all 2024 community events, with announcements to follow in January. The 2023 NJS PBA Holiday Toy Drive will conclude on December 18th, as officers will deliver the donated toys to the Closter Fire Department, where they will be sorted and delivered to local children's hospitals. New unwrapped toys will be accepted at the police headquarters until December 25th. For training, Detective Sergeant Shatkin volunteered his time and knowledge to instruct the Bergen County Police Academy recruits on arrest, search, and seizure laws. Lieutenant Kukowski instructed the same academy in the art of report writing. Officer Saldivia attended mandatory monthly training as a member of the Bergen County Regional SWAT Team. Sergeant LaVoy attended and graduated for the New Jersey PTC Firearms Instructor course. And SRO Lieutenant Stapleton attended behavior threat assessment training with regards to student behavior in schools. I volunteered with the CERT at our Township Christmas tree lighting event. The rain did not keep the people away, nor did it wash out our Christmas spirit or holiday cheer. Thank you to our Recreation Department for all their work, to our Police, Office of Emergency Management, CERT, and our volunteer fire department, who transported a special visitor from the North Pole to our event. On Saturday morning, I assisted the American Legion with their delivery of Toys for Tots to the Marines at the Rochelle Park train station. The police and Girl Scouts were also making their donations. Our volunteer fire department had the fire engine on site, and there were so many others bringing donations. The Marine volunteers counted every toy collected and received over 2,000 toys at this location alone. Thank you for all your generosity. Thank you again to the American Legion for hosting the Breakfast with Santa to benefit Autism Speaks. I attended on Sunday with my mom, and we got to meet Santa and his elves. I took a trip to Van Suwen Park to see the town Christmas tree decorated by our Boy Scout Troop 114 and Cub Scout Pack 1199. Each of the 70 towns in Bergen County is assigned a tree to decorate. Thank you, boys. It looks great. The trees are displayed by the ice rink as part of the Winter Wonderland event, which includes ice skating, ice bumper cars, and food and beverage vendors. There is also the Let It Glow Holiday Lantern Spectacular. While I was there, I visited Zoo. Not all of the animals are present during the cold weather, but it was nice to commune with the ones that are. Zoo admission is free until April 1st. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Nothing from me. I just want to say happy holidays. I hope everyone enjoys this festive season with their loved ones, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the new year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My committee report is short and sweet. I wish everybody a happy holiday season. I wish the town in the future all the best, and I mean that. So that's it. Right, Mr. Attorney.
Happy holidays, happy safe holidays to everybody. This time of year is a wonderful time of year, but it's important to focus on the most important things that matter, which is your family and your health. So it's always good to do that. I want to thank Committeewoman Boniface for her service to the Township of Rochelle Park for the number of years that she's been on here. It has been a pleasure to serve with her. And while we don't always agree on certain things, and you're not supposed to agree on everything, that's part of this, she has always truly served in the best interest of the residents, and I truly believe that. So I just wanted to thank her for her service and wish her well in her future endeavors. And nothing further from me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. What are we up to? Public portion. Can someone make a motion to open the public portion of the meeting? Oh, I'm sorry, clerk report.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, can
so
somebody make
I'll
a
make the motion for open to public.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yes, so come up to the microphone.
Hi, how are you? Deborah Wright, 39 Central Avenue. Thank you for the best wishes and holidays and so forth. We have a new owner that took over the house, and not major changes happen. But what behooves me is that this town, Rochelle Park, is the only town that does not have a cap on rent control. I have paper here to show that New Jersey has renters, tenants' rights have, like each town has like a percentile, but Rochelle Park is not the only one. I don't think it's correct that someone can jack up rent 28% when you have Hackensack, Maywood, starting at 2 up to 6, 8%. I mean, we're working hard to try to pay our bills. I mean, I see homelessness out here. I fed a woman out here. It's cold and everything. They're building apartment buildings here. I find it a concern because it's when you're building apartments, 160 units, as I hear here, there's apartments designated all throughout Rochelle Park. This here, the town has changed. It's becoming more diverse. It's becoming a change. But this here, I'm asking, why is Rochelle Park seem to be exempted from, it's a town in New Jersey that doesn't have a cap as to how much a homeowner or apartments can jack up the rent. I mean, I don't work in the city, I work here, I'm doing the best to pay my bills, but for a 28% increase, I don't have that kind of money, who does? So I'm just here to kind of, plead before everybody to consider this here, because I mean, there's rights, there's, tenants are, we're good tenants, we're law-abiding citizens. And for there having no percentile and caps, this is a concern to me. I've been here for 18 years, over 18 years. My son's graduated college and everything, and everybody's doing what they need to do. I thank God for my blessings, and, that God blesses each and every one of us in here, But I have a concern about this here, and I'm told that it's a political matter. That, we got to see, and I see that the mayor's not here to address it with him. I mean, I just like to know how we can get help, resolution behind this here.
Want me to answer?
Yeah.
All I could say to you is, this is the end of the year. I won't be on the committee next year, Mr. Moscow won't be on the committee, but I'm gonna highly recommend that the committee members who are sitting here next year seriously take this into account, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me, including my own brother, about the percentages in rent.
There are a lot of things that go into the question. I'm sorry.
That's all right, no, it's
Chair.
good.
There are a lot of things that go into that decision, and whether or not that decision needs to be made is certainly at the behest of the public body. There are many towns that don't have rent control. Population, a lot of different things that come into it. If this township committee is interested in something like that, my office can certainly look into it. But there are a lot of different facets that come into it, not solely just helping the residents. There's a lot of different logistics that come into whether or not a town is going to adopt a rent control, or even has a rent control board, which I don't believe we have.
No,
Yeah, normally you find it in larger cities and in urban areas that have it.
Well,
But again,
Maywood's
is it something that
Maywood's a
township
small
committees
town too, like,
Yeah, it's
Rochelle
not
Park,
just that. It's not just that. But again, if it's something the township committee would like to look into in the future, they can let my office know and certainly look into it.
If I may. So this question came to me back in October. I actually reached out to several, I think I had Anne Marie reach out to most clerks in Bergen County. The only two that returned that they actually have rent control, there was just two municipalities. These bullet points were sent to the mayor at the time, and that discussion was had, but, it's obviously food for thought for the new year.
Yeah, I think so. And again, send the township meeting, one of my office, look into it, we'll be able to look into that.
Can I leave this with someone, or?
Yeah, please do.
That's the statute, right, Michelle? That's right, that's fine. We can make copies for everybody.
Yeah,
too. And
send it to
we can
everybody.
make copies of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did.
You should look at the former tennis union, which is like something you want. I don't know if it'll work, but you should look into it. Hi, everyone, Michael Warren, 181 West Oldest Street. If the body would entertain me for a second, I do have a small token for Ms. Boniface and a slight speech to give. Then I do have a final comment for 2023 regarding township business. Is that okay if I go beyond the 3 minutes?
Fine with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody did their best to stay with it.
Yeah. Well, it's Ms. Boniface's last meeting. I won't be at the reorg. Boy, Linda, you come a long way in that seat. And I'm so proud of you for doing it tonight, for running the meeting. I met you 7 years ago when you sat in this audience with me and you were railing against the House. I heard I missed the best of Linda Boniface going against the House in 2015, but I got to see a lot of it in 2016 when I ran and when we sat together on the dais in 2018 and 19. I want you to know you've done a great job and that you took on this role with so much passion and vigor. You have learned so much about this governing body and everything that goes with it. And I don't think people give you enough credit for that. Are you a tough broad? Yes. Do you say it like it is, whether people like to hear it or not? Yes. Does it come off nice sometimes? No. But I always told you, if you were a man, you'd be the most respected man in town. So when I thought about tonight and what to say and what to get for you, one thing came to mind.
Boxing gloves?
Pair of boxing gloves. And Linda will knock you right on your ass, I always say, right? And I thought you'd want to have a pair of these, but they're not just any boxing gloves. So Chris and I, we signed one of the gloves, but we also encourage you to have anyone else you want to have sign these gloves as a memory and a token of your time up here. So I put down RP Champ, Linda Boniface, love Michael and Chris, and there's some pens in here that you can give out to whomever you'd want, because I said if I were to ask people to sign them, I know I would leave somebody out. And once again, someone else in Rochelle Park would be mad at Michael Warren, right? So these are for you. I figure black goes with everything. So I wanted to give you this. And you have become a friend of mine, a friend of Chris, our family. You know, you've been in our home and part of our lives. And I just wanted to show the great respect that the people of Rochelle Park should have for you, even when things aren't that great. And, you know, sometimes Linda does Linda, you know, too much. And it's not easy being up there. You and I talk about it all the time. All of you up there know it too. It's not easy at all. So thank you for your time and your dedication to the town. And I think you deserve a break. And you've done enough fighting and boxing for a lifetime. So can I just give these to Ms. Boniface?
Thank you.
Have them sign. Okay, so I just have switching gears to just my last comments of 2023. I thought about what to say since my last visit. I just want to leave this with the body up here, mainly Ms. Artola and Mr. Miller, that the resistance of the Township Committee to engage in the tree deficit in this town, I had to juxtapose it with an event that occurred here earlier this year, where a woman came into the township meeting who had never been to a meeting before and has never shown up again after, asked to be able to have chickens. And this entire body, minus Miss Boniface, could not act fast enough. So you have to understand why I feel the way I feel about this resistance to trees. That this town has a tree deficit, and my final thoughts for this year. I'll be back next year with a new group, a new title. You guys have all read about it. You cannot say you are interested in mitigating flooding, but be resistant to planting trees. They go hand in hand. Mr. Miller, Ms. Artola. You cannot say you are doing everything to mitigate flooding. Not stop it. We know that's a near impossibility. But to mitigate it for our residents and be resistant to planting trees in town. I just find it to be, my mind explodes because I can't wrap my head around the logic. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Thank you all for your time up there this year. Dean, thank you for up there for all the times I've emailed you and you've heard me talk about my issues. Thanks to Dave Brown, who I think he is Mr. Tree now, right? Please, this is the best time to start thinking about the future residents, the people moving in, the people who are going to be facing more and more water runoff. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, as you know, I'm a bare-fisted fighter.
I know,
I
but
don't need
even
gloves.
sometimes we have to be a little delicate sometimes, right? So that's for those
Thank you.
times.
Diane Verhassel, Forest Place. First, I want to thank the Recreation also, as it was before, for their trolley ride Saturday. It was very enjoyable. It's the first time we did it, and it was a lot of fun. Also, the decorations around town are very festive, and I think they're great. So whoever did it, thank you. Two things. One, I don't know if it's certain computers or what, but this is the second month that when I tried to go online and you go to the Rochelle Park page, click on where it says Township Agenda, you don't get the agenda, you get an error message. It says 404 error. There's ways to dig in and around, but if you go to the Rochelle Park page, I got that. And it's the second month, so that's why I'm mentioning it. At last month's township meeting, it was announced the plaza is paying for Boswell to represent Rochelle Park Engineering's interest. I remember,
Not
no?
to present, but to view all the plans.
Okay. Is the township committee aware that Boswell is also being paid by the plaza to represent their interest? Because that's a definite conflict of interest. It may not be the same person, but it's the same company. Why are you shaking your head? It was,
Because when I actually reached out to the plaza, they were using Neglia Engineering.
well, at the planning board meeting last week, they announced Boswell was doing their sewers and a few other engineering projects. And that is a definite conflict of interest. And Gail, you were at the meeting when it was announced. I know they didn't have a public comment at that point, but do you plan on bringing up that Boswell is representing us and them? Because that's a definite conflict of interest. Did you mention to anybody on the committee when this was announced at the planning?
I have not spoken to anyone on the committee about that topic. No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. Do you see that's a problem?
So we have in place that Boswell is looking at their plans.
Mhm.
I got a stack this big from Boswell, from about the plans. So Boswell is looking at it on our behalf.
Okay, and what about when the Paramus Planning Board announced that they are using Boswell to look over certain parts of their project at the mall?
But
They're
but
working
you
for
just
borough
said it, they're
parameters.
working for the borough.
Not
parameters.
for the plaza. So that, I would have no.
No, they're working Boswell. Boswell is the one who announced that they are having them work for their project. They're doing the sewage and a few, well, that's how they announced it at the meeting. Their lawyer, Mr. Sinisi, announced it. Gail, you were there when he announced it.
but like when
Right,
we had
but-
this project here, our engineer looked at our sewers and stuff like that.
Yes,
So
but
I'm not saying.
if the same company is looking at, from our point of view, or representing the town, and at the same time, their company is also representing part of the project,
I would
No,
say
they're
this-
representing
So-
the township.
no, they're
Yeah.
representing the plaza. That's what they announced at the meeting. At the Paramus
We'll
meeting,
have to look into it, because that's not, to
That's
my
not-
knowledge.
It doesn't
Yeah.
sound that.
well,
that's
Mr.
all.
Sinisi is the one who announced it. He's
Yeah,
their
we'll have to-
lawyer.
We'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
Dean and Amber,
Yep.
we'll have to look into that just to make sure, confirm what facet, first of all, whether that's accurate. I'm not saying from what you heard it wasn't, but what facet and what capacity, if that's the case.
They said there's sewer and a few other engineering components of the project,
Okay, so we'll have to look into it just to check.
you know, but either way, whether it's the whole project.
But I'm wondering if he was saying
But
that he reviewed it
that's-
on our behalf.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, no,
That's what
no.
it sounds like.
Now,
Yeah.
Mr.
We were talking
Sinisi-
stormwater runoff and like downstream
Uh-huh.
issues is what and traffic. Those are the two things that Boswell is going to be reviewing
And the impact.
on our behalf.
Yeah.
So
Now, he announced,
but
that
I
I'm just
will
telling you what
follow
he
up.
announced at the Paramus meeting, so, you know, he announced different
Yeah.
parts of it. The traffic guy gave his report, whoever gave this report, and he said, and Boswell is doing this, 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 and this.
Thank you, Mr.
So-
Evans. We'll look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Anyone else?
Francine Pascarella, 32 Dean Avenue. I would just like to wish all of you, and everyone in here, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I hope next year is prosperous for everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Francine. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
For a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to make one more quick thing. It escaped me that obviously this is also Committeeman Mosca's last meeting. So I echo the sentiment that I said about Committeeman Boniface, also Committeeman Mosca for his service. It's been a pleasure to work with him as well. And the same thing with regard to his interest with regard to the township. So it was a pleasure, and I thank him for his time, because this is his last meeting as well, and that escaped me. So I want to add that comment. Thank you.
Well, actually, Sindon.
Sendai meeting, you'll both be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. That's why I didn't.
Yeah, but that's right, full meeting,
For
like
both.
Sindon is 2 seconds.
Yeah, all right.
This is true.
We're gonna make ordinances. Yep, adoption. Special reading. Yep. Ordinances, public hearing. I'd like to make a motion to open to the public. And this is the ordinance to amend Chapter 80 of the Code of the Township of Rochelle Park entitled Construction Code, Code Enforcement Department.
Okay, well, I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Committeewoman Artola?
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
Committeewoman Boniface? Yes.
So,
Do you want me to read the whole ordinance? Anyone to speak on the topic of adoption of the ordinance 2023-017? Can I have a motion to close?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Committeewoman Artola?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca?
Yes.
Committeewoman Boniface? Yes. Can I have a motion to open to the public about ordinance number 2023-18, an ordinance to amend Chapter 185 of the Code of the Township of Rochelle Park entitled Land Use and Development Regulation to add a new section entitled Privately Owned Salt Storage.
We'll pass this one, we close and pass.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Committeewoman Artola?
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
And Committeewoman Boniface? Yes. Anyone from the public to speak on this? I have a motion to close to the public?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca?
Yes.
And Committeewoman Boniface?
Yes.
And that was a motion to close and pass. right?
Yes.
So I want to clarify the two-part motions.
Yeah.
Closing after public hearing for 017 was to close and pass, and 018 was to close the public hearing and pass the ordinances. Everyone clear?
Yes.
Those are the motions, and everybody understands it? Yes?
Nope, we're just gonna do 03226, and 023228, and 229, and 231. We took out 230 and 227. Do you want to do this or Oh, you don't have to do it, okay. You just ask for a motion for the consent agenda with the two both resolutions
As amended.
as amended.
Resolutions has amended, we're pulling 023-227 and 023-230. We're going to make the motion to pass resolution 23-226, 23-228, 23-229, and 23-231. Can I have a motion?
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Miller?
Yes.
Committeeman Mosca?
Yes.
And Committeewoman Boniface?
Yes. Can I make a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Will we be coming out?
Well, there'll be no formal action taken after closed session. After closed session, the meeting will be immediately adjourned. For the public's benefit, in closed session, we're to discuss matters related to personnel and negotiations and attorney-client privilege.
Is there a second?
There wasn't a second yet. I could second,
I'll make the motion to go. close.
yeah, and I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,